Geddy Lee, you've been touring now for how many years? About 10 years?
Well, professionally in the United States and around the world about 5 years.
About 5 years. How many concerts do you average a year?
Oh, about 200, maybe more.
200 concerts a year for 5 years. How long can you keep that up?
As long as we can. As long as we're still standing.
You're going back to England for just 2 dates, I understand. What's that?
Yeah, they want us. So there's a place right in the center of England that's big enough to house our entire show. So we're going over and doing 2 dates in that one arena and coming home.
Can you make money on going over there for just 2 dates?
Oh, yeah. It's a big place.
How many people do you expect to bring out there for each show?
There should be approximately 10,000 each night. That's a giant hall for England. Most English halls average from 2,000 to 3,000 people.
Are you going to be recording over there or coming back and doing it here?
We're going to do it in Canada this time, which is the first time we've done it in Canada for quite a while. We'll be recording just outside of Montreal at the studio.
Where is it?
Well, the direction of the next album is it's a definite move not to conceptualize. So there isn't any long conceptual pieces. There is one tune that's about 10 minutes long that is a little story. There's another tune that's about 7 minutes long. It's sort of a description. It's a suite, a descriptive suite. It has a little bit of lyric, but mostly instrumental. And there's about 4 or 5 shorter tunes that are all about different things and all combine all kinds of different influences. I'd say the most immediate thing, the most immediate difference on this album is it's very up-tempo. It's very positive sounding album.
Does the album have a name yet?
No.
Have a release date?
No.
Have an album cover?
No. Just got the music.
Who do you hang around with in the concert scene or the music scene in Canada? Are you a sort of an insular band, or is there are you friends with all the other heavy bands?
Well, I guess us and Max Webster are about sort of real good chums. They're about the only other musicians we really spend a lot of time with. And there's an English band that we hang around with a lot called UFO. And that's about it, really. And then we've got various friends that we tour with and run into from time to time. Pat Travers is another one. There's a whole bunch of people we know all around the world. You just see them at different times. Max Webster's the most consistent.
You have a reputation for helping young bands. Who are your favorite young artists these days?
Well, there's a lot of bands that we work with that, are good friends of ours that are very talented. People like Max Webster, Wireless, and various Canadian acts. We like to give them a hand.
You've got to be, would you say, well, I would say that you're the biggest thing in Canada right now. How far ahead of the competition do you think you are in terms of just gross sales and the business side of this thing?
I have no idea. I try not to think in terms of competition.
How much do you have to spend in terms of business now at this stage of the game? How much time of your time do you have to spend thinking about business?
Well, a part of every day you have to direct those energies towards not so much business, but crises, which relates to business. I mean, business is something we never enjoyed taking care of. That's why we have lots of people that do that. But
this stage show is a monster. I mean, how many people are working for you? Have you any idea, Dan?
It's about 28 people.
38 people for
28.
28.
There's a weird thing going on, and I think and I hope that it's a backlash to this blatant avarice that's happened in the industry in the last year. There's been a lot of greedy people that have been charging a lot of money for shows, and I think people are sick of paying it, and I hope they are, actually.
Everybody seems to be either going with the major acts or going with the new wave route. Have you any plans to play clubs, that kind of thing?
Clubs? I don't think so. We were a band that never really enjoyed playing clubs. When we were playing clubs, it was always a hassle. You know, it was always had to watch the volume, and back then clubs weren't nearly as sophisticated as they are now. It was really a lot of trouble to do a club. There was a couple of clubs we liked to play, but we're more of a concert band, I think. I think we'll stay there.
Have a hell of a job getting this equipment in the club.
Yeah, sure would.
What are your dreams? Where are you going to go? Where do you see yourself 5 yees from now, 10 years from now?
I really try not to think that far ahead, because there's really no point. I'm in a really volatile position. Tomorrow everything could stop in this direction and I might have to take up another direction. So I just prefer to bounce along with the ride, and wherever I stop, then I'll make plans.
What's been the effect of all the money that you now have access to, that kind of thing? What difference has it made to you in terms of the show you can put on and in terms of your personal life?
Well, in the sense of the show, it's made a great deal of difference because, you know, the more money we make, the more we can put back into giving a better show. The more we can invest in specials, bonuses like video and things like that, which I think really make a difference between a good show and a great show. As far as my personal life, you know, I'm pretty much the same person I was a long time ago.
That's surprising. You really do have a reputation for being a homebody and laid back off stage after all that frenzy that we all see up front.
Well, yeah, I don't think you really have a choice. It's the only way you can exist and survive. You know? At this kind of a pace, if you didn't lay back and you got off the stage, you wouldn't be around the next year to do it again. It's a matter of your body dictates what's good for you. My body tells me when I'm off the stage to take it easy.
Your recent albums have been monumental, if you will. I mean, they've been big pieces of work. I understand you're going to try and get back into writing songs.
Yeah, that's the whole reason for the next album, and part of the reason for this tour is to write songs again. We've taken our conceptual pieces pretty much as far as we can for the moment. I'm sure we will return at one point, but for the moment we'd like to write songs, and that's what we did. We wrote a whole bunch of different kind of strange songs, and that's what we're doing in this show.
What's the average length of them?
Well, they vary from anywhere from 5 minutes to 8 minutes to 10 minutes. To, you know, they're all different lengths.
So you're not really pursuing AM #1 hit potential with those?
They pursue us. We don't pursue them. If we happen to have a hit on this album, that's great. If we don't, that's great too. We've never really thought much one way or another.
What's the audience reaction like so far to the new material?
Fabulous. It's never been as good, actually. So it's a very, very positive feeling going in the studio this time, I think, because this is the first time we've actually played a lot of our material before we recorded, and the response has been real positive. So that's a good sign, I think.
Do you produce your own stuff in the studio?
We co-produce with Terry Brown, who's done our last million albums with us.
I just heard that the new Fleetwood Mac album is costing $1.1 million to record.
Yeah.
Are you going to go in for that kind of studio extravaganza?
I doubt it. We can't afford it.
Oh, come on.
That's ridiculous. $1.1 million? I think that's a little over the top.
What do you think you could spend $1.1 million on in the studio if you really tried?
I don't think you could. I couldn't. You'd have to be pretty bad to spend that much money in this studio.
Who do you listen to personally when you're listening to music?
Well, right now I'm really in love with Bill Bruford, his new band.
Forgive me, I'm unfamiliar with them. Who are they?
Bill Bruford's a drummer, used to be with Yes and Genesis and various people, and now he has his own band, sort of a jazz rock band. I think he's just about the most amazing guy in the world right now. So I can't find myself listening to much else but him lately.
Do you have any heroes?
I got millions of heroes.
Who would you really like to meet?
I wouldn't like to meet any of my heroes. I met one once and bummed me out because he was drunk, so I figure heroes are not for meeting, they're just for idolizing.
You've never done an outdoor show that didn't rain?
Yep.
How many outdoor shows have you done?
Oh, I don't know, about 15. Always rains. At some point in the day it rains.
All over the world?
All over the world. Rained in Stockholm, rained in Belgium, rained in the United States, rained in Canada.
Somebody trying to tell you something?
I don't know. Don't play outside, they're trying to say.
Are there any dangers these days when you're playing outdoor things with all that electric stuff on the stage?
I don't think it's that dangerous. The only danger is when you have back screens like we do. If the wind picks up too much, it could be kind of dangerous if 9 tons of equipment fell on you. It could damage you a little bit.
Yeah. When you say you're going into doing songs and that kind of stuff, is your audience changing as you get older?
Yeah, a little bit. They're changing with us, I think. I mean, you can't really be sure what's going on out there, but I do have a sense that a lot of our fans have been with us for a long time, and every time around we seem to be growing a bit more, so I think we're attracting younger people. And I think that's good.
You're getting younger, new audiences every time you go out?
Yeah, I think so. And I hope they'll grow along with us as long as we can keep happening.
Okay, the new album. There are a number of new things on this album, new approaches to the album. Tell me what's new about this.
You tell him.
Basically, its newness derives from experiments that I guess we've conducted over the last couple of albums through Hemispheres and Farewell to Kings. We were experimenting with a lot of new instruments and sounds and rhythmic approaches and so on. And in a lot of cases, they were experimentation and took us off in varying directions. But this time, we found ways to put all those directions into a single stream, and consequently, I think the album probably has a more direct feel to it.
Okay, you went about the album differently this time too, though. You took some time off.
Yeah, we had time to write it and rehearse it and work on it prior to recording, which we usually don't. We usually go into the studio and we have some ideas and some songs prepared, but for the most part it's get it together, rehearse it, arrange it, and then record it straight away.
I was surprised that now, given the time to put an album together, you chose this time not to do a conceptual thing. I would have thought that you had when you had the time, that's the time to approach something really textured and complex and big. You know, what was that? Was that a decision before you started?
That would have been a logical way to go about it, but no.
Too easy.
We chose not to do it that way. It was just a matter of, I mean, we have the time now because of so many years of working like crazy, you know, on past things.
We decided with Hemispheres too that next album we'd like to do more of a Farewell to Kings type album with 6 or 7 separate things. And as it happened, that's the way the ideas came out too. Sometimes you can plan one thing, but if you have a certain type of ideas, then you're going to follow those rather than go by a preconceived pattern.
I think also because of the fact that Hemispheres took so long to do and took so much out of us, and it was really a draining album to do, that, you know, it was sort of enough. And we'd sort of taken that conceptual thing to its limit for the time being. And we all felt that we'd like to work on shorter pieces and something that wouldn't be that involved.
Right. That's right.
You actually went into this thing with the concept for a conceptual piece, though, didn't you, that you dropped in the course?
It was a shorter idea, really. It was no more of a conceptual piece than Natural Science or Jacob's Ladder is, really.
It wasn't going to develop into...
It would have been like a 10-minute track or so, 15 minutes.
It was more or less a question of the atmosphere of the tune and the flavor of the tune. Sugar Wayne was very Renaissance, very English, you know, and the rest of the album seemed to have a more up-tempo, harder-edged feel, and it just didn't seem to fit.
Okay, there's some new technical effects on this album. You had a new interface machine. What does that do?
Well, what it does is, here's my big unit right here. What it does is enables me to trigger my gigantic synthesizer with my feet. And they're very large feet, I might add. So I get very large sounds. And it enables me to keep playing things on my bass and to have a little more intricate string arrangements and that I will be able to reproduce live. So it extends the flexibility of the band. It's texturally.
Tell me a little bit about Natural Science off this album. How did that come together?
Under great strain. It was the one track that wasn't written or arranged before we went into the studio. So it was put together right there. We just sort of, once we had everything else finished, we started working on overdubs, and I went to work on some lyrics, and then we took pieces from the old Sugar Wayne song and some other pieces that we hadn't used yet and cooked up some new ones that we needed for it. And, over the course of about 5-6 days, I guess, we put it together.
That sounds like a strange way to write for a band that's sort of on the road all the time and together and all that kind of stuff, to actually have to cram a song in 3 or 4 days, to have to, you know, conceive it, put pieces together, do it like that. Is that the way you normally work? I mean,
very often, yeah. It's a positive thing. A lot of times, having pressure on you, it makes you produce at a faster rate than you normally could.
The thing is, a few years ago, when we were supporting, we used to have a lot of hours in the day that were empty hours, and you could sit down. At that time, we used to do a lot of writing on the road. But now that we're headlining all the time, and we do almost a 2-hour show every night, and the whole routine and rigmarole of actually doing the gig takes up so much of your time and energy that by the time you finish your show, even if you do have a couple hours before you're ready to crash, I mean, the last thing in the world you can do is pick up a song and try to be creative, you know? It's like, yeah, well, dun, 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 you know?
Listen to this.
Yeah, that's terrible. You know? So you end up writing a lot of garbage when you're really tired. So the best thing to do, as we proved this time around, is to take some time off
then start writing, even if it's a relatively short period of time, we found that we were able to get a lot more done in a shorter space of time that way.
Do you have suitcases full of cigarette packages with lyrics and notes and stuff in it?
Sort of.
Yeah, I just tend to write down a key phrase or a title very often. I'll have a title that I know I want to have a song for, so I'll just write that down, and then when there is time, I can remember a whole train of thought that made me think that was a good title, and conjuring all that up, I can usually put it together.
The whole music industry is going primitive, new wave, minimal rock and roll. Do you care?
It is? I don't think it is.
I don't think it is. What do you think?
It is.
I don't think it is.
No, we don't think that it is.
There's certainly some,
Cross that one
certainly
out.
some bands that have gone back to basics kind of thing, but those are the bands that can't do anything but play basics. But all the real interesting new wave bands seem to be developing and progressing into more interesting styles. I wouldn't say that Talking Heads, for instance, were one of the major new wave acts. I don't think they're minimalistic at all. They're quite subtly complex.
And the new Boomtown Rats album, too, the production of it and the music is very progressive, very complicated arrangements and all kinds of subtle effects in it and stuff. It's just the same thing we were doing a few years ago, you know, it's just a different period.
Yeah, it's definitely a positive thing, though, I feel. It's really giving, adding a spark to what was becoming a complacent industry.
Your music seemed to have turned right over when Neil joined the band.
Turned over and
died.
You've been asked that one before, haven't you? All your lyrics are sort of mystic and that kind of thing. What's on your reading list?
Oh, I try to cover a lot of different things with reading. I read a little bit of science fiction, a little bit of fantasy, and a lot of English literature, Beano, Bunter.
Incredible Hulk.
Incredible Bulk.
A lot of stuff, some serious and some not serious. Just keep the head active.
And Alex and I can't read.
Well, you can't read, but and you never seem to write. How come you guys don't contribute more songs lyrically?
Well, you know, we don't talk so good. Like, talk for yourself.
I usually pull a tune out every couple of albums, but that's about it. This guy does it, and you're welcome to it. Alex and I prefer to spend more time on music. That's what moves us.
So it comes down to a lot of times when we're working on writing, we'll split up, and the two of them will go together and work on music while I work on lyrics. It's just a matter of facility, really. I have a facility with words that I don't have with notes, and they have it with notes. So it's a good balance.
Three guys sort of been living in each other's pockets for 10 years, and these guys go off while you write the lyrics. Do you ever get paranoid?
No. We just put together ideas when we're apart like that, and then everything we do really comes down to a unanimous decision. With the recording thing, it's with Terry Brown, it's a four-way unanimous decision. Unanimous. And if all of us aren't excited about it, then we'll stop and re-examine it and possibly throw the idea away and start again. You know? Everybody has to be excited about it, or it's not going to happen.
Have you thought of doing what Supertramp did and just taking it off the road and just doing records and those kind of projects?
I think we'd wither away if we were to do something like that. We're very much a live band, and we love touring and we love playing. So
Yeah, it's a lot of fun to play.
you know, to sit around and just make albums would get kind of boring after a while, I think, for us.
I would seem to think that you'd start to lose your perspective on things too. So when we're traveling all the time, you can't help but keep your pulse on the real world because you're thrust out in the middle of it. You know, touring is certainly, as most everyone knows by now, it's no wonderful experience, and it has its seamy side as well as its enjoyable side. And you can't help but keep an objective kind of perspective on things and know that you're part of the real world. Whereas buried in the studio, you lose that. You know, you become isolated, and I would think in a larger sense, you tend to become personally isolated from the rest.
You did what every young Canadian basement band dreams of. I mean, you actually did it. You got out of the basement, and now you're, you know, one of the world's major headliners, all that kind of stuff. How far do you feel from those kind of kids now?
That's a hard question. It's hard to gauge that, you know.
It's like saying, how far do I feel from myself when I was 18? You know, a long way, obviously. Still the same in some ways.
We definitely try to keep in mind who we play for and why we're playing. I think as long as we maintain the idea and remember why we're here, then we're very much in tune with those people.
A lot of times we make a decision based on how we would feel at the time when we were 17 or 18 and a fan of a band.
Yeah, we're still fans too. I mean, there's still bands that we go crazy over, and still lots of concerts that we like to go see, and so I think there's still quite a point of relation to that.
Who would you go see?
Who would I go see? Oh, I'd go see Yes in a second.
Yeah, we went to see Yes once when we were recording Crest of Steel.
Yeah.
Took a night off and went down to the show. Then didn't want to record the rest of the album.
Just recently in London, we all went to see Bill Bruford's new band too, which was a real treat for us to have a night off and to have someone who we all really liked playing in town.
I went to see UK when they were at O'Keefe Centre in Toronto. It's nice going to concerts when you can.
Who do you listen to at home? Records?
Those people we mentioned, plus a whole lot more, you know, all kinds of people. Recently, the Talking Heads and on the turntable a lot.
The Police.
Police, Pink Floyd, definitely.
New Pink Floyd album.
There's all kinds of exciting music happening.
You know, you were the band that really proved that you could get out there without radio airplay. You could actually just do it by getting out there and playing for people. You think that's still possible for a young band now?
Well, we were told it was impossible when we did it, so if it's impossible now, then I would say do it. That's really what it comes down to, is not compromising. And if you don't give up, then you just keep going.
Well, it's all down to how much you want to work, you know? I mean, those people are right if they say that you can get there a lot faster if you do it this way. Sure, you can get there a lot faster, but what do you give up on the way? That's a really important question, you know? If you're not prepared to give up anything, then you've got to be prepared to put a lot of time into it and a lot of work.
Can you honestly say that along the line there's been no major compromise?
Yeah.
And no minor ones either, I don't think.
It's not a bad track record in what is a really cutthroat industry.
Yeah, well, it's been done by a lot of other people than us, you know? We're not the only ones.
It's not like we're being smug about it, because we're not the only ones, and we don't feel like we're in a special category.
We're not pioneers by any stretch of the imagination. We're not no Lewis and Clark expedition here. There's lots of bands that have proved it to us. That's why we wanted to do it the same way. People like Yes and people like Pink Floyd and all those people did it way before us. We just wanted to do it the way they did it, you know, rather than do it the way people that we don't admire have done it. I mean, that's really what it's down to. It's certainly not an original concept. It's been around for as long as there's been people.
You tell us something about the...
How long have you had this skin condition, Lurks?
What's that?
You're really looking well today. I think your skin's getting better.
Yeah, I was down south for a couple of weeks. Got a little bit of sun. I was green with envy for a while.
What a handsome guy.
I'm ignorant now.
Okay.
What are you doing, John?
I joined right on the crest of everything when the American contract had just been signed, and they had already started to set up a U.S. tour and everything. So that was all going on, but nobody believed it. I didn't believe it. You know, when the manager came to me and said, yeah, we got a band, you know, we got a U.S. contract, and we're going to start a tour in August, and I'm like, I've heard all those things before. You know, I'd be in a small band, and our manager would go to Toronto and talk to the record company, and they'd say, oh, yeah, well, yeah, maybe we can do something. So the manager would get all hyped up, and he'd want you to be hyped up, and he'd say, yeah, I think we're going to get a deal here, and we're going to be out on tour opening for, you know, Jethro Tull or something. Oh, yeah? So you believe it, and then there's no problem there because it's all positive, but when it doesn't happen, you know, you tend to be, being that young and being that ambitious, you know, you really get crushed by it. So I heard all this stuff, and I didn't believe it at all, that, you know, this band that I'd never heard of at the time could possibly have a U.S. recording contract. So basically we went off to the U.S. with all of that being true and in place, and disappeared as far as Canada was concerned because they still hadn't heard of us. And it wasn't until we started appearing on U.S. TV shows at the time and getting some attention by radio down there that suddenly, you know, to our great surprise, when we got the Juno for our Most Promising Group in like 74, 75 or something like that, we were astonished because, you know, we couldn't get a high school gig in Canada at the time.
Around the time of Caress of Steel, we kind of had a setback, and that was kind of a negative time. So maybe around that time, we were pondering the future a bit.
Caress of Steel was an important record in our development, but it certainly wasn't a very successful, commercially successful record. We were very proud of it, but unfortunately, it didn't do that well, and it was at a transitional point where we were going from an opening act to a special guest with the occasional headline gig. And the gigs weren't doing too well, and we were hundreds of thousands of dollars in debt, so management was worried, the record company was worried, everyone was worried.
Things were dark, and there was no support from outside us, even from the record company, from management, even from our road crew. Everybody was down on us. And we were working the most depressing places, tiny little clubs in suburban United States, way in the outskirts of Chicago and stuff, playing these divey little biker bars and stuff. And we called it, even at the time, the Down the Tubes tour, half jokingly, but obviously half reflecting on the reality of it.
I remember we were sitting in the van and we had a long talk about direction and whether we were doing the right thing. And we came out of that discussion feeling very positive about the direction we were going in. And we were quite, fired up and angry about everyone's reaction and lack of belief.
And suddenly, enormous crisis where we were all on our own, basically, and no support and very dark future, and had to examine that. How do we counter this? Well, fortunately, I think anyway, the way we chose to counter it was with anger. Just bang, forget it. And 2112 was a result of that, and it was a very angry album. And the theme of it, even of the individual against the mass thinking, was the implicit theme of it, but it was also our theme. It was also what was really angering us. So I think all of that conviction went straight into the music, and the whole album was made in like a month. So it was made under concentration, but also in a concentrated period of time. So I think there was also the possibility for that to happen, for all of this angst and all of this rejection and this resentment and everything that we felt did go into those grooves, I feel, and also spoke out. It was true accessibility in the sense that it was communication. We were communicating our anger and our rebellion, and we're not going to take it anymore, and this is what we say, and tough. All of that was in there, and suddenly that album spoke.
Of course, everybody then felt, oh yeah, we knew it all the time.
I mean, a lot of the reviews we got in the early days, they were biting.
They were nasty.
Yeah. But you slag them off, you slag them right back, and you go, what does he know when you're younger? And then every once in a while there'll be one that you'll pay attention to and will teach you something about what you're doing, which is, I guess, the role of criticism. But unfortunately, they're few and far between, helpful criticism.
We just fell through the cracks, basically, and an anomaly is the other way of saying that. Our record company our American record company was in tremendous disarray at the time, and we were just, allowed to stumble around. And in every respect, yes, having really made our name on the stages, really, rather than through radio or through press. And radio for us was a response. Once we became popular enough as a live band, the request lines started to light up often enough about us that radio stations played us. And again, that was a very well-defined turning point with moving pictures. Our popularity reached a certain critical mass, basically, where it couldn't be held down that far anymore, and radio was forced into a very reluctant position of having to play us.
But you're just as distrustful of good reviews. I mean, every time there's a really overly great review, you go, what is this? And you don't really have any respect for it either. So, you're never happy, really. It's just that every once in a while you get that review that compliments you and criticizes you, that you kind of grabs your attention and makes you focus in that maybe this person is really sensitive to what we're doing.
In the United States, it was different. We had college radio, and we had some of the small alternative stations around the United States, but no mainstream at all. And it was moving pictures that created that. And I don't think it was the difference in the music that time. I think it was just the critical mass of popularity that had been built up through just working, just playing live. And I think we continued to open shows right up till about 77 or 78 or so. So we were still being seen by a lot of people who wouldn't pay money just to come and see us.
The fact that we've been kind of an anti-image band, but not really militantly, I guess. It's kind of been accidentally an anti-image band, which has, in the end, come around to be our image to a certain degree. That's kept us away from a lot of the kind of lifestyle press, and it's kind of put us off in a more quiet place, which I think has been very healthy for us, and probably another ingredient as to why we've been around for so long.
We're not that kind of group. We're not personalities, like some other artists might be. You don't really see us in People magazine. Although I think with Presto there was a photograph of the record, or of us, which my mother found very interesting. Oh boy, it's in people. But I mean, that's how this success, they relate to success. But we've never been a group that's been, you know, a personality type group. We're probably not the best looking guys at the best of times. And there's nothing, oh, what do you really think? But, you know, there's not something that you can latch on to, I think, with us physically that you consider attractive, maybe. But, and it's never been important to us to be regarded that way.
Yeah, we have such a hardcore, dedicated, you know, audience that they've really kept us going over the years. And I kind of look at it like that core is kind of always interested in, and it is, I think, real interest and curiosity as what we're going to do next. So they're really kind of involved in our growth. And regardless of which way we grow, I don't think they immediately turn off. They kind of listen and go, oh, this is what they're doing now. It's interesting. And then there's other fans that kind of come and go. When we do an album that happens to suit the popular mood, then, you know, it expands. And then when it doesn't suit the popular mood, then it shrinks a little bit. That core keeps us ticking.
In, I guess that was about 1980 or so, people were coming to our concerts that, you know, I don't think they had any idea why they were there, but it was the thing to do that year, to go see Rush. So I think everything doubled for us that year. Twice as many people were coming to see us, twice as many people bought our record, and then with the next record and the next tour, it all went back to normal.
I mean, our audience has really grown with us over these couple of decades. You know, we're not the only ones with thinning hair in that hall. There are lots of our fans that are, you know, our age, that have been there since the first record, or maybe the third record or fourth record. And that's I think, the most rewarding thing of it all, to see the people that have been there and supported you and grown with you all along and never wanted anything more from you than another record.
Because I don't think in terms of those kind of records, so I think in terms of how many albums we've made and, you know, how many songs, how many hours in the studio, how many days on the road. That's what I remember when I think back to our history. I don't think of so many units sold in Swaziland or wherever, you know. That's an abstraction that's really hard to come to grips with. But it's the memories, it's the wrinkles on the face, it's those kind of things that kind of spark, you know, memories of the past and all the things we've done.
There have been records we liked a lot that have been overlooked, and never understood why, but then sometimes later on they have a renaissance, and suddenly people start to go back to them and realize what eluded them at the time. Maybe Grace Under Pressure was like that. I thought it was such a record for the times that, again, it would have that accessibility built in, that people would just respond to the things that I was feeling and the things that all of us put into that record. But it didn't really happen. It was greeted by kind of consternation at the time, even by our fans. And yet later on, I knew it came to be a favorite, you know, considered a favorite album among a lot of our fans. So it's gratifying that does happen, that eventually turns around and something you believed in enormously. Because early on, that can be really frustrating if you really believe in something a lot and then other people don't. Yeah. It's like, oh, what do we do?
You know, I think the 2112, I think that was one album that was us. Nobody else sounded like that. And probably Farewell to Kings was another one of those records where we were very happy with a new place that we'd gotten to musically, and Moving Pictures. And to a large degree, Presto was that kind of album.
Perhaps we've influenced some other artists or some other bands in that you can do it your own way, and you can be successful on all terms by doing it your own way and keeping everybody happy, and therefore giving yourself freedom to do things the way you want to do them.
We never felt like we were going against the grain, except when people would either tell you or things would not be going so great, and you felt like you were going against the grain. But really, we just did what we did. Mm-hmm. There was no great master plan, and there's never been. It's like we were starting to write this coming Monday, and none of us know what the hell we're going to write. We just get together, and everybody's a little anxious, and something comes out.
There are bands, a few bands. Dream Theater is an example of a fairly young band that's writing in a style that pushes their musical abilities to the furthest point, and they can. And there are a number of bands that are like that have said that we've influenced them that way. And that's certainly satisfying to know that there are still a lot of young musicians that really want to go out there and just be great musicians.
We were lucky in so many ways. The element of chance just shone for us, because by all, if I wrote down the things that we set out to do, to be the kind of band that wouldn't be dependent upon this and wouldn't compromise for that and wouldn't tailor ourselves for pop radio and all that and wouldn't play the role of pop group and wouldn't have giant hair, you know, all the things that we wouldn't do alone, you know, let alone what we decided we would do. If you added all that up, you would definitely write under it, forget it, failure, you know, no hope. And in retrospect, I see it that way too. It's astonishing to me that not only did we break through, but we have survived up till now.
I think part of it is that we're a three-piece band. You get three people, it's often easier to work that way than more than three. You tend not to break into factions, obviously. We get along very well as friends. We really enjoy each other's company. We laugh an awful lot. I think that's probably been the key, is our collective sense of humor over the years, and it's helped us to weather some of the tougher times.
When we started, people kind of expected you to have, they gave you some time to develop. You had a couple of albums to show your stuff, to get it together, before they just kind of hacked you off the label. But I think the attention span is much shorter now. I think you have less time to develop than you used to.
And I think we partly learned it from experience, because when we first went on the road, we opened up for so many years for other bands. You know, we were on the road with Kiss for years, and we saw how the unstable members of the band couldn't survive, and the stable members did and have. And we opened for bands like Aerosmith and saw how reckless self-destruction, you know, was not the course for the future, you know. So we just learned balance, I think, and we didn't have to overreact. Again, the way they didn't insist that no one else in the world should drink because we're hopeless alcoholics, you know, none of that was necessary, because we could learn these lessons slowly. And we could see, okay, if people are playing this role, we used to watch them dealing with celebrity and dealing with fame, watch them dealing with the decadence and the excesses that are possible. You know, when you have that much free time and disposable income and everything else, all these things can happen so easily, and we saw them happen firsthand, you know, watch these people that we were with every day going through these things. And I think that was an important lesson that taught us that, you know, if we want to survive as we are, instead of becoming the role, and that really was the choice, as I perceived it then and as I do now. You can either play this role and become it, or fight it. Yeah. But it's not easy. It really isn't, because you're expected to do that. You know, you're expected to play this role, and you're expected to be some kind of idol by everyone, by your fans. You know, everyone expects that kind of thing, and they can't believe that you could possibly want to do anything ordinary or just be an ordinary person.
We've been fortunate in that we've had control over the music that we write and record, and we've had a very loyal audience that's grown with us over the years. So when things go right, you know, why try to fix it? I guess that's been the perception around the band on the things that, I guess, management and record company and all that. And because of that, we don't get any external pressure on us, really, to speak of. And we're left freer to do what we've always done and what we always will do, I guess.
Ladies and gentlemen, Tom Cochrane.
Nearly 20 years ago, three very young musicians got together and they started a band. Now that in itself isn't unusual. But something distinguished Geddy Lee and Alex Lifes and Neil Peart from the others. Their attitude, their talent, and conviction. With manager Ray Daniels, Rush founded a record label, and then with little fanfare and some minor airplay from a radio station in Cleveland, they went on the road. And that's pretty much where they've been ever since. Rush founded their own path outside the mainstream, and remaining true to their ideals, they have flourished. Tonight we're here to blow the lid off our three friends, to pay tribute to the music and the lives of Rush, and to salute a 20-year career that defines commitment, artistic integrity, and spectacular achievement. Years. 19 albums, 19 tours, over 30 million records sold. All this without a top 10 pop hit, unless you count Geddy's collaboration with Bob and Doug on Great White North. The truth is, their success has been anchored by brilliant musicianship and playing live.
There's something about what we are that is defined on tour. There's something about live performance that kind of made us what we are. And it's almost like we have to pay respect to that in some way.
I think what happened is Rush got a reputation as being really good value as a live band. So anything that we recorded in the studio, we made sure we would be able to do it live.
You go up there, and for those 2 hours, every second is magnified, and in 100 orders of magnitude of every beat that I play, and every note that goes by, every transition, everything is just measured. And my whole self-esteem is measured in those little milliseconds.
A great performance seldom happens more than a couple of times in the course of a tour. But you know it, you come off stage, that's when everybody's in sync and the crowd is in sync with the band, and the three of us are really playing tightly, and you just come off knowing that you've done it.
There's no feeling like it. It's just complete elation.
Elation shared by millions of fans worldwide. They have several fan magazines, a computer fan network, their own incredible brand of fan loyalty. Out there live in the big rock halls, they're adored.
There are certain people that are in their 30s and even 40s now who have been with us through the whole ride. And our music has always been meant to be the soundtrack of our lives. And I always thought that was one of the nicest compliments when people have said to me that our music has been the soundtrack of their lives.
And I'm a Neil Peart fan, Geddy Lee fan, and an Alex Lifeson fan, and they have set the standard by which all bands shall follow.
A lot of people, I think, they look at us as their little secret in some way.
Geddy, no, he jams Neil. Got it going on, baby Joe.
We do find, looking out into our audience, that we see a great number of people with thinning hair and eyeglasses, which is a sign of maturity, I guess. And then at the same time, I see a lot of people who are 16, 17, 18 years old who were not even born when we started touring the States.
I grew up on Russia, the only power rock trio. Go Neil Peart. Congratulations, Rush!
The fact that we've been kind of outside everything. We have a very, I think, loyal audience that's grown with us and has lived through this whole thing that we have and shared it with us. And those are the important things to us.
2 thumbs up, definitely.
The Mies van der Rohe quote I've always loved is, God is in the details, so we want our audience to see God every night.
Neil Peart is God. Go Rush!
So the details become, proportionately pretty important, although again, the basic reality doesn't change, that we are 3 guys in a warehouse learning to play the song.
My brother went to the same high school as Rush, and the most amazing thing was, if you ever went down to the United States, you could really have a passport to Coolden if you went, well, yeah, I'm from Toronto. My brother went to the same high school as Rush.
I can remember in grade 9, we had an assignment at Lakefield College School in Northern Ontario to write an essay on a very, very respected writer throughout Canada, and I picked Neil Peart.
Or it would be, oh yeah, my brother once backed up Geddy Lee at a fight at the gasworks and killed a guy for Geddy.
Hi, everybody. We're 4 of the 5 members of Bare Naked Ladies standing here outside of snowy Maple Leaf Gardens, where when I was 15 years old, I saw my very first rock concert, and of course, it was Rush, the Signals Tour. I was blown away like the other 15,000 people in there, and most importantly, though, I was inspired.
So, congrats on your induction into the Hall of Fame.
And enjoy the limelight.
Rush rules. Here's to 20 years of Rush and 20 more.
I'm very, very proud that they're Canadian. All right, Rush, you guys rule!
That's the way that Lady Luck dances. Roll the bones. Roll the bones.
As musicians, Rush enjoy universal respect and consistently appear at the top of the critics' list for their instrumental mastery. They've been nominated for 35 Junos. They were Canada's Group of the Decade in the 80s and were named Musicians of the Millennium by the Harvard Lampoon. Their dynamic clearly works.
The dynamics between the three is quite extraordinary. There's a kind of a brotherly love. There's an instinct and intuition that works in a miraculous way.
I think the way it works in Rush is that we are a democracy.
A true democracy, given there are only 3 people, it makes it so much easier.
The dynamic is great with 3 people because 2 against 1 isn't fair. So you can't gang up on each other.
The thing is that we spend a great deal of time laughing together, and we enjoy each other's company, and we have for so many years. We're still like we were when we were teenagers. I mean, I know Geddy and I have known each other since we were, I don't know, 13 or 14, I guess. And every time I look at him, I think of that same guy I went to junior high school with.
Well, I'm certainly the bossiest person in the writing session, so I push everybody around. Alex really is, I mean, he probably told you that he wrote everything himself.
A lot of people don't know that I do everything, and that Neil and Geddy really have always worked for me. I mean, it's not surprising, but I felt sorry for them, and you know, I do what I do because I'm that kind of a guy.
He almost got arrested for going around telling everybody that he wrote all of the Beatles material too.
Alex is more spontaneous in terms of his character, so his work tends to be.
Geddy is a little more methodical, and he has a great sense of melody.
Everybody's buying, nobody's hero.
Geddy and I will be very methodical and work over things detail by detail and build things in a more architectural approach of, okay, we've got this, it could be better if we add these things. And where Alex will just sit down and pick up his guitar and play something great.
And Neil is a very, he's a very organized writer. He has great consideration for the fact that I have to sing what he's writing. As the years have gone by, and as he's become more of a fan of singers, his writing style has adapted.
In all cases, it truly becomes the holistic idea of greater than the sum of the parts. You know, I write the lyrics, but they're improved by the other guy's input. You know, they write the music, but it's improved by all of us applying our arrangement ideas to it, our individual instruments to it. All those things add to it as it goes along.
That works very well in our little group.
If anybody's buying, nobody's hero.
Congratulations, Dad, and Geddy and Neil, for making it into the Hall of Farts. You deserve it.
Alex, Geddy, and Neil, congratulations on tonight. And thank you for years and years of great, great music. I hope there's a lot more to come. I'm sure there will be. Maybe some Latino albums, maybe some different stuff. You know? Anyway, never mind.
Congratulations to Rush, musical heroes with a 20-year winning streak.
I have a lot of respect for you guys as friends, as musicians, and as fathers. And I can't believe you showed up for something like this, actually. So this is just great. So have yourself a great time tonight, guys.
I think the main thing that people are forgetting about Rush is not so much the music thing, but the massive sex appeal.
Take 2. Thanks for all your inspiration. Congratulations. You know, if you're a musician, guitar player, drummer, whatever other instrument, Rush is the guys to listen to.
You guys are one of the best bands in the world. You deserve it. And keep on trucking.
Rush, welcome to the Hall of Fame, and good luck in the future. It's the future that counts.
Congratulations, Rush, on being inducted into the Hall of Fame, and here's for another 20 years.
They're the only band I know that included in their rider on tour a French Berlitz teacher so that they could learn French after dinner rather than sit around and do whatever it is a lot of rock bands do.
Well, Neil, Alex, Geddy, you said it, and by gosh, you did it. It was a half a generation ago that I had the honor of presenting Rush with its first gold records. And now Canadians can be justifiably proud as you become the newest members of the Canadian Recording Hall of Fame. Gesund.
I know of no other act who's released 18 or 19 records and gone out and toured on every one of them. Whether they, at that point in their lives, wanted to or not, they've been there. It's very much been like a sports team that you show up every season, and you may not win the World Series or the Stanley Cup every time, but you sure as hell make the playoffs.
Rush has stuck it out. Neil, Alex, and Geddy have always looked ahead, embraced the challenge, and that's the thing. They just keep growing.
You shouldn't be a drummer picking up drumsticks for the first time saying, I'm going to play at Madison Square Garden. You know, you should say, I'm going to play at the church hall down the street. And for the band, too, we never thought we're going to stay together for 20 years and make 20 records and, you know, sell out tours 20 years from now. Never dreamed of those things. We thought, okay, we're going to go on stage tonight and play.
We don't try to stay in the same place. We're always trying to move forward. And hopefully we'll be able to continue that for another 20 years.
Writing the great song, I still feel like it's in me somewhere. There's a truly great song in me somewhere, but it hasn't come out yet.
This is an incredible band. More importantly than that, they're incredible people, and I think that's what makes for longevity. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the latest members to the Juno Hall of Fame, Neil Peart, Alex Lifeson, and Geddy Lee. Rush!
Thank you. Thank you all very much. Thank you. In all these 20 years, we've had more than our share of good fortune. Good health, good partners, and good families. So many people have contributed to what we have accomplished, and so many people are as committed to their missions as we are to ours. We are honored tonight by the Canadian music industry, and to us, this industry includes the drivers who carry us through darkness and bad weather to the next show, the guys on the crew who set it up and tear it down, the record company rep who gets our song on the radio, or the fan who introduces a friend to our music for the first time. They're all part of this industry. We may provide the music, but they provide the audience. We bow for the applause, but this industry brings all those hands together. Nietzsche said, without music, life would be a mistake. Music without an audience can be a sad thing too. What is more unnerving for us is that without music, we would have to get a life. And without an audience, we would have to get a job. Thank you all very much for this honor.
Thank you. I had a speech prepared, but Frank Sinatra stole it from me last at the Grammys. So. After what Neil has said, there's hardly much I can add to that. You know, he echoes my feelings quite sincerely. I'm very happy I've stayed in this country all these years. It's a great country to work out of. I feel honored to have been able to watch the Canadian music industry grow into what it has become today. And I just thank you very much.
Uh-oh. 3 dozen eggs. 2 liters of milk. And 150 Valiums. That's kind of what it's been like. Thanks very much.
In many countries of the world, we are still kind of a cult band in a way, because we don't have huge pop success, although we have, you know, in a rock sensibility, we have obviously garnered success and can do well as a touring act, and we sell records and all that. But because we're not a band like Bryan Adams or, you know, it's bam, bam, bam out there in the mainstream, I don't think we've been overcooked in those media areas. I mean, there were times in our career, of course, that we could have done certain things, like we always get asked to do these television shows where you perform late night TV and stuff like that, which we always thought was kind of bogus for a band like us. And I still think it's true. Bands rarely sound, real rock bands that play hard music rarely sound good in those situations. It probably cost us some mainstream exposure, but at the end of the day, it felt right.
Yeah.
And we've always, good or bad, smart or stupid, I don't know, we've just kind of flown by the seat of our pants with a lot of those decisions.
Let's talk about the brand new record. I love the choice for the first single and the placement of it on the record in terms of sequencing, because you really do announce your arrival.
Yeah, it didn't start out that way, because we had no idea that song would end up the way it did, but once we had a vision of how that song was going to be, it soon became clear that that was an important statement to make, you know, that we're back and we're celebrating something here, and especially with Neil starting it off, you know. The fury of him playing just was just the right thing.
Yeah, completely appropriate.
What was the first line of discussions? Do you remember a phone call? Someone getting a phone call?
Well, we heard from Neil that he was ready to talk about going back to work, and we arranged to get together. And
you referred to it as work?
Well, I think the phrase that he used was, I think it's time for me to seek some gainful employment. Which I thought boded well for the future because it was so funny.
And we got together and we just talked about things. It was a very kind of loose meeting. It probably took place about 6 months before we started working on the record. Getty was in the middle of working on My Favorite Headache. And we talked about scheduling, when to start. We were all a little bit apprehensive, I think. Weren't sure whether it was really going to work out. And that really went over to the actual beginning of the project. We spent a lot of time just talking. The first couple of weeks, I don't think we played a single note. We just talked a lot. And very slowly we got into the whole, you know, machine.
It was a very interesting atmosphere when we first got together, you know. It was like we were all so pleased to be with each other. And, you know, as soon as you get the three of us together, it's not long before stupid jokes start flying, you know, and we start kibitzing with each other. And that was so pleasant and so familiar, you know. It was, at the same time, there was an emotional quotient that was kind of in the air and not very far from the surface. And I think it was the residue of all the difficulties. And And so it was like walking around on tenterhooks a little bit early on and making sure we kind of settled in. And at the same time, there was the familiarity of, oh my God, how many times have we done this before? Can we actually make any meaningful music together anymore after all this time? So it was such a strange mix of things in the air, you know. I think it was a bit daunting, and that's why I think we talked. I think we were kind of afraid in a way to start playing. But we just talked and talked and talked, and then eventually we started playing, and it was whatever we were playing was just really boring.
Yeah,
Very uninteresting, and we said, okay,
okay, that tells
let's
us
talk
something.
some more or something. It took time, but we got to a point where suddenly we started to feed off each other, and boy, that was a glorious feeling. I can't tell
Yeah,
you.
it really clicked. We worked very hard for 2 or 3 months and got seemingly nowhere. In fact, we did, but we took a short break and came back, and it was very clear to us where the direction of the record needed to go. And once we started, it really, you know, we've said this many times, it took a life of its own, and we really went along for a ride with it. You know, everything was very natural and instinctive from that point on.
In 1977, there was an interview in Cream magazine I was reading. We have a huge file of old articles. And I think the writer asked you, what's been the key to Rush's success at this point? And Geddy said, perseverance.
Ah, I did?
That was 77.
Gee, 77.
Yeah.
Well, I was about 6 years old.
No, sadly you weren't.
I don't think.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess so. I mean, it's easier to persevere, obviously, when you have a huge fan base that we have. So,
yeah.
I mean, I don't think you can belittle the contribution that our fans have made to our being able to persevere, you know. It's one thing to say you stuck it out. I mean, hell, they've been so willing to put up with our experiments on vinyl and now on those stupid little things. You have to accept that as, you know, when you're making a record, of course you make it for yourself, and you make it to get off on it, and you want to feel good about what you're doing. You know, you want to prove to yourself in some way that you're getting better, and you've found some new twist on writing or playing. But you have to credit a fan base with giving you the confidence to do that in some way. Even though you're not writing for them, you're certainly not considering their opinion when you're in the room. Their being there knows that there's a welcome for you, whatever experiment you decide to do. And that gives you confidence. There's no question about it. Yeah, well, we take each other for granted, for sure.
Yeah, but
that's part of it.
Yeah, that's okay. I think with this record, I was pleasantly surprised by Geddy's approach to how he used the bass to take up a little more space in the overall sound. And I think this came from his writing his solo record on the bass and playing a lot of bass chords. That was something new for him, playing all these chordal things. And that immediately got me in another direction. I started playing more as a bass player, single note patterns. So we exchanged roles in a way. And that, for me, was a bit of a catalyst to go in a different direction.
This break has made me better able to appreciate his talents and his strengths and the way he likes to work, instead of insisting that it be this way. He doesn't like to do what's obvious, ever. He likes to do something in a completely unusual way, and he has to feel that there's something fresh, there's a new angle on it. Even though he may end up in the more direct approach, he has to go through a process to do that. And sometimes in the past I haven't been very patient with that or appreciated how important that could be.
Both ways.
You know, and now I think I do appreciate that aspect of what he does. And, you know, so I think this many years down the road, we're, again, learning new things about each other, which is pretty amazing when you think about it. I mean, most people break up from bands because they get bored after 6 months. Well, are they bored, or they just don't want to work at doing something, you know?
First show I read was 1968, I believe. One of the mics was a lamp, was a floor lamp.
Oh yeah, yeah. It was one of those. Yeah, it was one of those old Electro Voice mics. You know, the big chrome ones with the little on-off switch in the bottom.
No mic stand.
We had it taped to a lamp. A floor lamp. We had no mic stand.
Yeah, that's good research.
One amp. Both of us plugged into the same amp.
Do you remember how much you
My
paid?
amp.
Did you
$10.
We had enough so we could go to the delicatessen.
We went to
and chips with
Panzer's.
gravy afterwards.
Yeah.
And that was like awesome.
But I remember that night. I remember sitting in the restaurant
I remember
and
that
feeling on top of the world. It was so exciting. It was our
got
first paid gig, $10.
For that.
Yeah, for that.
Yeah, we did a gig. We got paid. We were professional musicians. Certainly early on, when we first were out there, it was almost impossible to get airplay. In fact, I remember it was in the late 70s. A very clever A&R guy, national promotion guy from Mercury Records at the time, put a special sampler disc together called Everything You Wanted to Play by Rush But Were Afraid to. And he had like 10 of our songs on it and sent it around to all these radio stations. And it actually did start changing things. And then there was a period, a few years later where suddenly we became kind of a staple on American rock radio. So it really turned around, but it turned around, as you suggest, as a result of how much success we'd had as a touring act and the reputation we had as a touring act. And we were out there like constantly, opening for everybody when we couldn't headline and headlining small venues when we could headline.
Those first few tours, we played 250 shows a year, plus we would make 2 records in that same time.
Yeah.
It was unbelievable.
And this last record, we spent 14 months making it.
Yeah.
I mean, how times have changed. We were talking about the other day, I think we recorded Fly By Night.
5 days. First album was in 4 days. Crest of Steel was a week.
Yeah, I mean, we've spent more time working on the arrangement for Ghost Rider.
On one song.
And I remember we finished that album, Fly By Night, we got on a plane and went to Winnipeg and did a gig.
That's right.
That night, we
finished early in the morning.
4 in the morning.
Yeah.
Went home and, got dressed and changed and whatever.
Got an early flight to
Playing
Winnipeg.
this gig with the Winnipeg Symphony Orchestra.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like such a strange gig.
We were opening for them.
Yeah, we opened for the Winnipeg Symphony Orchestra. What I understand is that at some point in their lives, our music has made a connection. And in a lot of ways, it's usually a healing connection or an inspiring connection. And that has stayed with them. And in some way, it has made such a bond with what we do. And because I think when you combine that with the fact that we're not really a mainstream band, and in some ways, in their mind, we're always kind of fighting the good fight out there, it's made them very loyal and made them appreciate, what we do. It's the kind of stuff that you can't really think about very often.
I think we recognize that there is respect for the band, and I think a lot of it comes from the fact that we've been together for 33 years or whatever it is. We've managed in a business where it's notoriously short-lived. We've managed to maintain our beliefs, and our standards throughout this whole period. We've worked very hard to do things the way we believe it should be done. We've been loyal and true to our music, to our art, and that's a difficult thing to do in the music business. And I think there is a level of respect from all different areas, from the business itself and from fans and from other bands and even people that don't particularly like our music. They see that there is a way to do things your own way and be successful and be true and honest with yourself.
on rainy afternoons. Sometimes in confusion, I felt so lost and disillusioned. Innocence gave me confidence to go up against reality. All the same, we take our chances, not by time, tricked by circumstance. minds that made us strong. Oh, can we learn to feel what's right and what's wrong? What's wrong? to seek the sacred river out, to walk the caves of ice, to break my fast on honeydew and drink the milk of paradise. I have held the whisper tales of immortality, the deepest mystery. From an ancient book I took a clue. I scaled the frozen mountaintops of eastern lands unknown. Time and man alone, searching for the lost Xanadu. To stand within the pleasure dome decreed by Kubla Khan, to taste anew the fruits of life, the last immortal man. Find the sacred river out, to walk the caves of ice. Oh, I will dine on honeydew and drink the milk of paradise. Oh, paradise. A thousand years have come and gone, but time has passed me by. Stars stopped in the sky, frozen in an everlasting view, waiting for the world to end, weary of the night, praying for the light, risen of the lost Xanadu. closer to the heart, closer to the heart. The blacksmith and the audience reflected in their art. They forged their creativity closer to the heart, closer to the heart. Philosophers and plowmen, each must know his part to sow a new mentality closer to the heart, well, closer to the heart. in my role, altering my image, struggle for control. Mysteries of the dark unconscious, made of the lunacy. Daughter of the great enchantress, sacred to the boy inside of me. Polarize me, sensitize me, criticize me, civilize me, compensate me, animate me, complicate me, elevate me. My counterpart, my foolish heart. Man must learn to listen apart. Warm dread, gentle prayer. Man must build a fortress to defend. A touch of grace. Man must learn to give a little space. A peaceful state, submissive terrain. Man must learn to gently dominate. Polarize me, criticize me, civilize me, compensate me, animate me, complicate me, elevate me, complicate me, elevate me.
Yes. More things. We'd like to do something. There you are, I can see you now. Canadians, you bunch of Canadians. We'd like to do something for you from our Test for Echo album. A song inspired by Scotland. A great Scottish tune. This is called Resist.
I can learn to resist pray, pray without surrender. You can't fight without ever winning, but never ever win without a fight. When the ebbing tide retreats along the rocky shoreline, it leaves a trail of tidal pools in a short-lived galaxy. Each microcosmic planet, a complete society. A simple kind of mirror to reflect upon our own. All the busy little creatures chasing out their destinies, living in their pools, they soon forget